Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Newsbusters, America's Media Watchdog. I can't even say that right, man. I gotta get better at these first 10 seconds of videos again. Anyway, it's from August 31st, and it says MSNBC's Velshi, who is this dude in the picture on the left, and Crazy Mystal, who is this goof nuts on the right here, and both of them are nut jobs. This is okay to break the law to resist ICE and Trump. And just for all of you out there, no, it's not. Actually, it is an actual crime. Don't do that. That is bad, and you will go to prison. And I should say, too, Elie Velshi is one of the guys during the George Floyd riots that was saying, like, there's nothing to see here as, everything was on fire around him. And Elie Mystal is just an absolute whack job. And that's that's insulting to actual whack jobs. It says, on his eponymous Sunday morning show, MSNBC host Elie Velshi gave a forum to frequent guest Elie Mystal of The Nation, which should just tell you where his politics are coming from, extremely far to the left, to encourage leftists to resist the Donald Trump administration as if they were living in the Jim Crow era or under dictators Adolf Hitler or Joseph Stalin, or both. Donald Trump, they seem to think, is Adolf Stalin or Joseph Hitler, or I don't even know. Combine the names, whatever. I was going to try to do that, and I was like, no, not going to waste the time. It says, Velshi also suggested that it is acceptable to get arrested trying to shield illegals from being arrested by ICE. It's not. Or even suggested following fellow leftists harass Uber drivers if they're listening to conservative media. See, this is why you're not good people. Like, I would never, if a driver I was listening, I've taken one Uber, exactly one in my entire life, and if the dude was listening to, like, the Young Turks, I wouldn't harass the guy. Like, I would just be like, oh, he's one of them, and I'd just keep my mouth shut. Like, I wouldn't care. As he introduced the segment, Velshi referred to laws being broken by civil rights activists in the 1960s and the good that came of it. That's a completely different situation. These are not comparable, and if you were smart, which you're not, you'd know that. And then brought up New York City Comptroller Brad Landers recently getting arrested for interfering with ICE agents at immigration court, and then queued up Mystal's recent column in The Nation that encourages anti-Trump activists to resist. So this must be from Mystal's column. I don't even know what I'm about to read because this dude, again, is a nut job, but let's see. It says, the civil rights hero John Lewis did not see immediate change when he marched in Selma in 1965, but he and those who marched with him forced the nation to reckon with the violence that stood in the way of democracy. Today, these small acts of resistance are unfolding across America. And in Manhattan, the city comptroller, Brad Lander, and other activists have been showing up to immigration court to observe ICE proceedings. I think Brad Lander, I'm pretty sure, did it say here? I'm going to stop his quote for a minute. Just said, yeah, he got arrested. That's what I thought. I was going to say, like, yeah, he got arrested, and I think because it's in New York and they didn't charge him for something that he quite obviously did. Continuing on, and we're at the bold-faced part here, it says, in June, Lander was arrested after linking arms with a man who agents were trying to detain. Now he's urging migrants to skip court hearings altogether, calling them abduction traps. Well, then they're just going to get found at their homes and taken anyway, so they'd get an extra, few days, maybe? Elie Mystal observes that at all points in history, there are people who are willing to break the law when the law is evil. Well, I totally am with you on board on the civil rights thing in the 60s, but this is, again, a totally different thing. These are illegal aliens. Those were our actual citizens that we shouldn't have been treating that way. These people shouldn't even be here, okay? Two different things, dude, but he's an idiot, so what do you expect? It says, then appearing with Velshi, Mystal mused about what he would like to tell his grandchildren who might ask him how he reacted to President Trump, and then recommended that liberal activists behave like opponents of Hitler and Stalin. I hate to break it to you, but Hitler and Stalin were liberals, like extreme liberals. So what we are doing right now, what anybody who is listening to me is doing right now, is what you would have done at all of those great and evil points in history. What you're doing right now is what you would have done during Jim Crow. What you're doing right now is what you would have done during Pinochet or Hitler or Stalin or any other bad guys in history. And Pinochet is the only one that was actually a right-winger on there. It says, what you're doing right now is what you would have done then. This Velshi soon suggested that some activists may want to break the law like Landers did against ICE, while Mystal added, one could show defiance by being as enthusiastic about supporting trans kids as the parents themselves. It says, click expand. We're not going to do that or go through this because it's probably going to be very, very long. Let me just see here. Keep fat fingering things. It's not that long, but we'll skip over that because I think you get the point already. We'll just finish up here. Says Mystal went on to recall that when he encounters an Uber driver who listens to right-wing media, that he demands they turn it off, so he's an asshole too. Says right now, if I'm in an Uber and they're putting on, state propaganda TV, which would be, what state propaganda TV is right-wing right now? I want you to tell me what it is, Elie Mystal, smart person. Says, But he says, I'll be like, turn off that mess, please, sir. So he's polite. He's a polite asshole. And here are 10 reasons why. So he's a smug, polite asshole. Like that, it's not something I like doing, but it's something that I have to do, which no, you actually don't. It says you do have to get a little bit outside of the things that are comfortable, because that's the other thing that fascists and authoritarians use. Oh, he's one of those that doesn't know what those words mean. Your own desire for comfort, your own desire for normalcy. And it says transcript is under here, which obviously I'm not going to go through all that. So Elie Mystal he's brought on to news channels, doesn't actually know what fascists and authoritarians are, which Donald Trump is neither. And I've had to explain this before in many other videos, that just figure out what these words mean, dickhead. I mean, come on. He's a guy that's supposed to be taken seriously. This dude right here, and he doesn't even know what those words mean. But yeah, there we go. I'm done, because this dude just pisses me off. Every time he opens his mouth, he says like the dumbest thing imaginable. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.